It started innocently enough, just a blurry video posted late at night by an anonymous TikTok user. The clip was short, barely 15 seconds long, yet it quickly captured the attention of millions. In the video, a dimly lit hallway stretched endlessly into darkness. Suddenly, a shadow flickered across the frame. Quick, fleeting, almost like a whisper in the dark. No sound, no explanation. Just that shadow, moving with an unnatural speed, disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. Within hours, the video exploded online. Thousands of viewers shared it, debated it, and speculated wildly. Was it real? Some swore they saw a ghostly figure, a restless spirit caught on camera. Others claimed it was nothing more than clever editing, a viral hoax designed to shock and entertain. The comments flooded in, some terrified, some skeptical. Fake, said some. Real, said others. Too creepy to watch again, admitted many. Among those captivated by the clip was Aria, a 19-year-old college student who spent hours diving deep into the world of viral content. Unlike others, Aria felt a strange pull toward this particular video. It wasn't just the shadow or the fear it evoked. There was something else, something she couldn't explain. She stared at the screen, watching the shadow move again and again, searching for clues in the darkness. The more she watched, the more she wondered what was hiding just beyond the frame. What secrets did this short clip hold? And who was the person behind the camera, watching from the other side? But beyond curiosity, a deeper question lingered in her mind. When the line between reality and fiction blurs in the digital age, how can we ever be sure what's real? When shadows move in the dark corners of the internet, are they warnings or just tricks? And perhaps the most unsettling thought of all, what happens when these shadows step out of the screen and into our world? After the first video took the internet by storm, strange things began to happen. Not just to those who watched the clip, but especially to Aria. Her phone buzzed with notifications, but not the usual likes or comments. Instead, she started receiving calls from unknown numbers. No voices, no messages. Just long, eerie silence or faint, almost inaudible whispers that sent chills down her spine. First, she thought it was a prank. Maybe someone trying to scare her because of her growing attention to the viral video. But the calls became more frequent, more persistent, happening at odd hours when the world was asleep. One night, as she sat alone in her dimly lit room scrolling through the clip for what felt like the 100th time, the phone rang again. This time, she mustered the courage to answer. Static filled the line. Then, faint, distorted voices emerged. Words she couldn't quite understand but felt laden with warning and urgency. Before she could respond, the call abruptly ended, leaving her heart pounding and her mind racing with questions. Was someone, or something, trying to reach her? Were these calls connected to the shadow in the video, or something far worse lurking behind the screen? As Aria's world became increasingly invaded by these silent calls, she realized the terrifying possibility. The viral horror wasn't just confined to the internet anymore. It was creeping into her reality. In the one evening, while reviewing the original viral clip on her phone, she noticed something she hadn't seen before. A strange flicker, a subtle glitch that appeared for just a fraction of a second. It wasn't just a random video artifact. It was a shadow, lurking just beyond the edge of the frame, almost as if it was trying to reveal itself. She slowed the video down, frame by frame, analyzing every pixel. The glitch repeated in several other clips from the same uploader, a barely visible symbol shimmering faintly in the background. Curious and unsettled, Aria tried to trace the uploader's profile, but to her shock, the account had been deleted. All videos vanished as if they never existed, erased from the digital world without a trace. No warnings, no explanations, just silence. The disappearance only fueled Aria's obsession. Who had posted those videos? And why were they removed so suddenly? Was someone trying to hide the truth, or scare people away from discovering it? As she delved into forums and chat rooms, she found whispers of others who had seen the glitch, who had felt watched, who believed that some viral horror stories were more than just entertainment. Some said these were warnings from another world. Others claimed they were curses disguised as videos. And as the line between reality and digital nightmare blurred, Aria realized one terrifying truth. Some stories on TikTok aren't meant to be found, and some shadows aren't meant to be seen. As Aria's research, her phone, once a source of connection and entertainment, became a vessel of eerie disturbances. At random moments, it emitted bursts of static, brief, crackling noises that seemed meaningless at first. But one night, driven by curiosity and a growing sense of dread, Aria recorded the static and played it backward. What she heard was chilling. Whispers in a language she couldn't understand, voices pleading for help, warnings that sent a shiver down her spine. Was it a Ari? But in the age of viral horror, where technology and the supernatural collide, some messages aren't meant to be ignored. Some messages aren't meant to be heard by the living. As Aria's research, her phone, once a source of connection and entertainment, became a vessel of eerie disturbances. At random moments, it emitted bursts of static, brief, crackling noises that seemed meaningless at first. But one night, driven by curiosity and a growing sense of dread, Aria recorded the static and played it backward. What she heard was chilling. Whispers in a language she couldn't understand, voices pleading for help, warnings that sent a shiver down her spine. Was it a Ari? But in the age of viral horror, where technology and the supernatural collide, some messages aren't meant to be ignored. Some messages aren't meant to be heard by the living. As Aria's investigation plunged further into the digital abyss, a new and disturbing pattern emerged. Accounts connected to the original viral video began to disappear. One by one, followers, commenters, and even close associates of the uploader vanished from TikTok as if erased by an unseen hand. Profiles that once buzzed with activity were suddenly gone, leaving behind only empty spaces and unanswered questions. Aria's searches turned up dead ends. Friends who tried to contact these missing users found nothing but silence. It was as if a shadow was sweeping through the platform, wiping away traces of those who had dared to engage with the mysterious video. The disappearance wasn't random. It was systematic, calculated, and chilling. Who was behind this digital purge? Was it the uploader trying to cover their tracks, a sinister force within the app itself, or something far darker lurking beyond the screen? In a world where every click leaves a trace, some footprints were vanishing into the void. And Aria knew one thing for sure. The deeper she went, the darker the secrets became. As the digital shadows deepened, Aria uncovered something unexpected. A hidden symbol embedded within the viral videos, faint and almost imperceptible. At first glance, it looked like a simple glitch, a stray pixel, or an artifact from poor editing. But as she slowed the footage frame by frame, the pattern emerged. An intricate design, repeated in different clips, as if someone had left a signature. Some online communities whispered that it was a mark of a secret society. Others believed it was a curse, a warning meant to keep viewers away. For Aria, it became a clue, a key to unraveling the terrifying truth behind the viral horror stories. But every answer uncovered led to more questions. What did the symbol mean? Who created it? And why was it hidden in plain sight? Warnings appeared everywhere. Hidden in comments, whispered in direct messages, even left on her doorstep in the form of strange symbols and silent knocks at odd hours. Cryptic messages warned of consequences she could not yet understand, urging her to abandon her search before it was too late. But she dismissed the fear as paranoia, the warnings as superstition. And sometimes, the price of truth is far greater than anyone ever imagined. After ignoring every warning, Aria's world shifted forever. One is, "You shouldn't have come this far," it read. "We see you." Her heart pounded, and for the first time, fear gripped her like never before. The viral horror that started as a simple video had now become a haunting reality. A presence reaching through the screen, watching, waiting, and drawing closer. Aria realized she was no longer just a viewer. She had become a part of the story. From the moment the chilling message appeared on her phone, Aria's reality began to unravel. No longer confined to her screen, the darkness seeped into every corner of her life. Shadows moved where there should have been none. Whispers echoed in empty rooms, faint but persistent, as if the very walls were alive. Her nights became battles against unseen forces. Sleep evaded her, replaced by dreams that felt more like memories, visions of places she had never been, faces she had never met, but which filled her with a deep and ancient fear. Friends grew distant, unable to understand the terror that consumed her. Some warned her to seek help, others to leave the city. But Aria knew this was a nightmare she had to face alone. The viral horror that started as a curiosity had transformed into a relentless haunting, one that threatened not just her sanity, but her very existence. And through it all, the message echoed in her mind, "We see you." As days passed, Aria noticed something even more disturbing. Every video, every clip, every piece of evidence she had collected began to vanish. It was as if the very story she was chasing was erasing itself, wiping clean every trace of its existence. Friends who once discussed the mystery with her now denied ever seeing the videos. Comments on the original clips vanished as if they had never been. The viral horror wasn't just a story. It was a living, breathing entity, hungry to remain hidden, to silence those who dared to expose it. And the deeper she dug, the more she risked losing herself in the void. Aria's curiosities determined to find answers. She traced the message back to an unknown user, a ghost in the digital world, much like herself. Aria realized she was not alone, but the path ahead was darker than ever. As Aria's days grew darker, the digital haunting took on new and terrifying forms. Her phone screen flickered with strange images, faces appearing and disappearing, symbols twisting and shifting just out of focus. Notifications popped up randomly, messages filled with static, calls she never answered but could never ignore. One night, her live stream was interrupted by a chilling presence, a shadow that appeared behind her, only visible to her viewers. The comments exploded with fear and disbelief, but Aria knew it was real. The terror she felt was no longer confined to her mind. It had spilled into the digital world for all to see. Sleep became impossible, and with every passing moment, the line between the virtual and the real continued to blur, pulling Aria deeper into a nightmare without end. The relentless terror took its toll on Aria's mind and body. She found herself trapped in a waking nightmare where reality and illusion twisted together. Paranoia gripped her every thought. Every shadow seemed alive, every whisper a threat. Friends stopped answering her calls. The world outside her door felt distant and unreachable. But the evidence was undeniable. The videos, the messages, the disappearances, they were real. And so was the darkness that hunted her. At her breaking point, Aria faced a terrifying choice. Continue the search for truth, risking her very soul, or walk away and live with the unknown forever lurking just beyond the screen. As the darkness tightened its grip, Aria found herself more isolated than ever. Her once lively social circles grew silent, friends drifting away as fear took root in their hearts. Was she losing her mind? Or was the terror real? An invisible force that fed on her fear and loneliness. Yet, amidst the isolation, a stubborn ember of hope flickered. Aria knew she couldn't give up. Not now. Not when the truth was so close. A pattern of symbols flashed briefly, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. But to Aria, it was a sign, a beacon in the void. She pored over forums, old manuscripts, and obscure websites, trying to decode the strange markings. Each symbol seemed to hint at an ancient secret, a warning encoded in digital form, linking the viral horror to something far older and darker than she had imagined. The discovery reignited her resolve, but also deepened the mystery. What had she stumbled upon? And was she ready for the answers that awaited? Legend spoke of a forgotten curse, a dark force bound within symbols and shadows, unleashed through modern technology. The deeper she delved, the clearer it became that escaping this curse would require more than just turning off her phone. It asks, as Aria ventured deeper into the curse's shadow, the line between her digital world and reality began to crumble. She no longer saw the world as before. Every shadow whispered secrets. Every silence held unseen eyes. Objects moved on their own. Doors creaked without cause. And the chilling presence that once lingered in her phone now haunted her every step. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by nights filled with restless terror and haunting visions. Friends and family grew distant, unable to grasp the nightmare that consumed her. Alone and desperate, Aria realized the curse was not just an online legend. It was real, powerful, and relentless. And as the darkness closed in, she understood one truth. Escaping this haunted reality would demand everything she had. The pressure of the curse weighed heavily on Aria's soul. Every day was a battle to maintain her grip on reality as the darkness threatened to consume her entirely. Her once bright world had dimmed into a fog of fear and isolation. She found herself standing at the edge, the breaking point where the lines between sanity and madness blurred. The viral horror had become her life's darkest nightmare, and she was running out of time to escape. With every heartbeat, the shadows grew stronger, their whispers louder, their grip tighter. It's Aria. At her lowest, when the darkness seemed absolute, something inside Aria refused to give in. A flicker of courage ignited within her, a determination to reclaim her life and banish the shadows. She began researching ancient rituals, seeking knowledge beyond the digital realm, hoping to find a way to break the curse. Though fear lingered, her resolve grew stronger with every step. Aria understood that fighting this horror required more than technology. It demanded strength, faith, and the willingness to face the unknown. Her journey was far from over, but for the first time, she felt she was no longer just a victim. She was a fighter. Through ancient texts and whispered legends, she discovered a ritual said to sever the link between the digital curse and its victims. With trembling hands, she prepared the ritual, her heart pounding with a mixture of hope and fear. As she completed the final step, a surge of energy pulsed through the room. The shadows flickered, shrank, and for a moment, silence reigned. For the first time in weeks, Aria felt the weight lift, the darkness retreating just enough to breathe again. It was a small victory, but a powerful one. A reminder that even in the deepest night, light can break through. Her fight was far from over, but now, armed with knowledge and courage, Aria was ready for what came next. Despite the small defeat, the darkness had retreated, but not vanished. It lurked in the corners, watching, waiting for a moment to strike back. Strange occurrences returned, subtle at first, then growing bolder. The enemy was unseen, intangible, yet its presence was undeniable. Aria realized she was fighting not just a curse, but a cunning adversary that adapted and evolved with every attempt to defeat it. The digital horror had become a battle of wills, her strength against an enemy that thrived in fear and darkness. And in this war, every moment mattered. No matter how far Aria ran or how fiercely she fought, the darkness was relentless. It followed her through the digital realm and into her waking life, a constant, unyielding presence that shadowed her every step. Sleep offered no refuge. Nightmares bled into reality, blurring the lines between the two. Every notifiable, the viral Aria's strength was waning, but her will to survive burned brighter than ever. She knew that to end this nightmare, she would have to confront the darkness head-on, no matter the cost. As Aria, a message appeared on her phone, glowing with a sinister light. Turn back now or face the consequences. The words echoed in her mind, chilling and clear, but Aria refused to be cowed. She had come too far to surrender to fear. This was her moment, the point of no return. With every heartbeat, the darkness closed in, but so did her determination. The final battle was about to begin. With the final warning echoing in her mind, Aria steeled herself and stepped into the abyss. She confronted the source of the darkness head-on, facing fears that had haunted her since the beginning. The digital world around her warped and twisted, shadows reaching out like grasping hands. Every step forward was a battle, every breath a test of her will. Yet, in the heart of the abyss, Aria found a flicker of light, a fragile hope shining against overwhelming darkness. It was this light that would guide her through the darkest moments to come. In the heart of the abyss, Aria faced not just the darkness outside, but the shadows within herself. Memories, fears, and doubts surged like a tempest, threatening to overwhelm her. Every whisper of fear became a weapon wielded by the darkness, every flicker of hope a fragile shield. But Aria refused to surrender. With every ounce of strength, she fought back, carving a path through the shadows. The outcome was uncertain, but one thing was clear. She was no longer the frightened girl who first clicked on that viral video. She was a warrior. As the battle raged on, a shift began to take place. The oppressive darkness that had haunted Aria started to waver, flickering under the strength of her will. The light, faint but growing, pierced through the shadows, revealing cracks in the nightmare. Every step forward was a victory, every moment of clarity a breath of fresh air. Aria could feel the curse weakening, the grip of fear loosening. But she knew the fight was not yet over. The darkness was cunning, and one misstep could plunge her back into the abyss. Still, the final moments approached like a storm on the horizon, unstoppable and overwhelming. Aria stood at the edge of the darkness, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. And this was the last stand, the moment where she would face the full force of the viral horror. But Aria was no longer the frightened girl who had stumbled onto the video months ago. She was armed with knowledge, courage, and the strength forged in countless battles against the unseen enemy. And in that crucible, Aria prepared to fight for her very soul. In the darkest hour, when all seemed lost, Aria found a strength she never knew she had. The shadows that had haunted her began to dissolve, fading into nothingness as the first light of dawn pierced the night. The viral horror, once a relentless predator, was defeated not by fear, but by courage and resolve. Her journey had ended, but the story, like all great tales, would live on, warning others of the thin line between reality and the unknown. For in every shadow, there is a story waiting to be told.